At the beginning, I would like to explain why I'm using a voice synthesizer instead of my real voice. I want to remain anonymous. I'm afraid that revealing my identity could harm me in the future, so for now I prefer not to be recognizable. I'd also like to explain why I'm recording this at all. I struggle with an anxiety disorder, and lately I've been feeling really bad. I'm recording this diary because I hope that talking about it publicly will help me cope with it better. When it comes to psychiatric and psychological help, I've seen both a psychologist and a psychiatrist. I'm actually a hypochondriac, so I usually don't need much convincing to see a doctor. The psychologist helped me understand that the source of my stress is a fear of loneliness and rejection. The psychiatrist, on the other hand, prescribed me a medication, pregabalin. Unfortunately, after taking it, I started experiencing disturbing symptoms: dizziness and even chest pain. These symptoms continued even after the dosage was changed, so I eventually stopped taking the medication. I want to be very clear, though, I do not recommend stopping medication on your own. In my case, it was a personal decision, but such things should always be discussed with a doctor. After reading about the side effects of various medications and after my own experience with pregabalin, I decided that for now I would try to deal with my anxiety by working on its root cause, loneliness. At the moment, I don't have anyone I can truly talk to. I won't hide the fact that I hope that by making this kind of content, I might gather people around me who are similar to me, people who understand how I feel. Right now, I'm sitting alone at home, writing the text you're listening to. In a moment, I'll try to go on Discord and talk to someone for at least 10 minutes, for example on language learning groups. I'm 33 years old, and unfortunately most people on those groups are younger. They often ask me if I already have children or a partner, and I don't. Sometimes that makes me anxious, though not always. It depends. Another step I'm considering is finding a new job. In my current one, I feel disliked and not accepted. The last 2 months have been really difficult for me. At the same time, I don't want to make impulsive decisions and quit right away. The advantages of this job are that it's close to my home and that the pay is relatively good, better than in my previous job. On the other hand, it's a very demanding job, especially mentally. I experience chronic stress almost every day lately. I know where it comes from, but I don't understand why I react to it so emotionally. There are moments when I can't eat at all. In the past, I also had serious problems with sleep. I need help, but I feel very lonely. I don't have anyone to turn to. That's exactly why I decided to start this channel. Maybe it will help not only me, but also other people who feel the same way. If anyone is interested, I'll add that for about a month now I've been under a lot of stress related to work. It's Saturday now after the holidays. Many people spend this time with their families, and I'm alone. It really makes me sad. I'm sitting here alone and thinking that the state I'm in now is largely the result of my own decisions, not all of them good ones. Recently, I went to the HR department to ask for a raise. A few months ago, I changed positions, and it was agreed back then that after some time I would be eligible for a raise. In the meantime, however, I was asked to sign a loyalty agreement. I asked for one point to be clarified so that it would be more understandable. Apparently, the HR staff didn't like that. I went back several times, and I could feel that they were getting more and more irritated. Later, when I asked for a raise and referred to what the director had told me earlier, their reaction was similar, again, irritation. As a result, today I received a salary that was about 1/3 lower than before. This is probably related to the fact that earlier, out of fear of losing my job, I suggested that I could work without certain bonuses. HR assured me at the time that these bonuses had nothing to do with the loyalty agreement. I even asked for that to be clearly stated in writing. I considered the matter closed and assumed everything would stay the same. Now, however, I have the impression that my recent request for a raise really upset them and that they decided to punish me this way. Today's situation caused me a huge amount of stress. On Monday, I plan to call HR again and ask for the bonuses to be reinstated. Actually, it's about one specific bonus. I keep asking myself why I even went there and asked to earn a few hundred zloty more, when in the end I lost several thousand. I justified it to myself by thinking that if I didn't try, I would regret it later. Maybe I behaved too directly, maybe even arrogantly. I remember standing there with a cup of water, sipping it while they were checking their documents. In the end, they just said they would analyze it and get back to me. And the result is a lower salary. That raise was really important to me because I'm saving money for my own apartment. Every single zloty matters to me. Despite all this, I still have a goal in life. I want to become financially independent so that I go to work because I want to, not because I have to. I feel that this could be a remedy for my anxiety. If I had that sense of security, I would know that if things got bad at work, I could leave at any time. Right now, I don't have that feeling. I'm afraid that if I quit, I don't know when, or even if, I'll find another job. To achieve this goal, I'm working on several fronts. First, YouTube channels. I have a few, but only one is monetized. The others are nowhere near that. Unfortunately, these aren't professionally made channels, so even the monetized one earns around 100 zloty a month. That's definitely not enough to live on. Still, I'm not giving up. After a period when I was barely able to do anything, I started recording again. I also began looking into video editing courses for YouTube and learning that skill. Additionally, I'm learning languages. I do Duolingo every day, hoping it will give me an opportunity to work abroad in the future. For now, though, my level is still not sufficient. Another idea for financial independence is buying a micro-apartment. I'm saving for it, but there are no such offers in the town where I currently live. I looked through listings and found one in Lodz. I don't know, however, if I'd be able to find a job there. I've sent a few inquiries and I'm waiting for responses. I also plan to ask about potential salaries. I haven't made a decision about moving yet, but just thinking about the possibility calms me down a little. On Monday, I also plan to call HR again. I want to do it from work so that my supervisors can hear it. I even thought about saying directly that I received a lower salary than before. Just thinking about this conversation causes me additional stress, especially since my relationship with my supervisors has already deteriorated. This intense stress started with a specific situation at work. One day, we were severely understaffed, so I suggested calling the director and asking for support. A more experienced employee said that instead of calling, it should be written down. So I wrote a short request. Later, that same employee said that this wasn't the right way to write it and that it should be an official memo. He wrote it himself in quite a harsh tone, and I delivered it to the director. Unfortunately, when my supervisor found out, he became very angry. At first, his anger was directed at everyone. But when I heard that he didn't want to grant leave to one of the employees, I approached him and explained that I wanted to call. Someone else wrote the memo, and the person who didn't get the leave had the least to do with it. At the time, I thought I was doing the right thing. In reality, I felt like all the anger fell on me. The person who had written the memo wasn't at work that day. He had been assigned elsewhere. From that moment on, the situation clearly got worse. Since then, I've been on sick leave twice because of severe stress. I especially remember the day after my supervisor told me that it was me who delivered the memo to the director and then refused to accept my documents for approval. That was one of the worst days. I couldn't eat or sleep. The second sick leave was due to chest pain that appeared after taking pregabalin, or rather while discontinuing it. After those 2 sick leaves, the situation at work deteriorated significantly. I constantly have this thought that if I could turn back time, I would do everything completely differently. At the end, I'd like to share one more reflection. I've noticed that many of my problems begin when I try to take initiative, when I want to do something better, but it ends up making things worse. I see something similar in my relationship with my mother. She is overprotective and often acts with good intentions, taking initiative and thinking she's doing the right thing, but sometimes the outcome is the opposite. There's something to that. My mother is overprotective, while my father was very strict. When I was reading comments on Facebook in groups for people with anxiety disorders, I noticed someone writing exactly the same thing, that his mother was overprotective and his father too strict. That made me think that maybe this has something to do with anxiety and with how we react to stress today. Thank you if you listened to this recording until the end. It really means a lot to me. And if you're feeling strong stress right now, remember that you're not alone.